Game 7 is just under 24 hours away, and the biggest question for the Toronto Maple Leafs so far is the availability of Auston Matthews and whether he will be available for Game 7 tomorrow night. And we have a couple of updates to discuss regarding that, as well as some speculation regarding what his injury could be. So I'm going to break that down in this episode, as well as Boston Bruins. They might be shifting up their goaltending strategy following another brutal loss yesterday. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we do, if you're a part of the 80% who aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that button if you enjoy the daily Leafs content. It would mean the world to Darius and I as we're doing this. And I am in a weird setup. I'm traveling across Canada right now, so I'll be back home very, very soon for the usual setup, hopefully for when they can make series number 2. But Darius, let's just get right into the update. So daily Auston update from Keith. He skated again today. He's making progress. Status is still undetermined for Game 7. And then an hour after that, we had an update come out basically saying, at this point, I'm hearing it's unlikely that Auston Matthews will suit up in Game 7. We shall see, though. And obviously, Auston Matthews, he's our best player. And I'm not saying that he by any means makes a team worse or anything like that, but there is something to be said about how good the Toronto Maple Leafs have been playing with the current group of players they have, with the makeshift lineups that they've had and all these things. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how the team looks when he does return, and hopefully he returns tomorrow, if not maybe for series number 2. But the makeshift lines have been very, very good, and it's interesting. If he can be healthy for the next series and they have confidence in their ability to win, then maybe hold him out.
The team has been really good without him, but I just don't think they're a better team without him, if that makes sense. Like, if he's healthy, you have him in the lineup 100%. And if he's ready to go, which it doesn't look like he'll be available, I think you just take out Gregor and put Matthews back in and figure out the lines, because some of the makeshift lines have been pretty good. But again, it doesn't look like he's going to be ready to go, which isn't too surprising. I feel like I was expecting him not to be able to go. The fact that he missed the last 2 elimination games, this is a significant injury that he's not able to play through. If he was able to play through it, he would be. Like, I'm pretty sure all Leaf fans can agree with that. Like, he's played through some serious stuff and needing surgery before. So if he could play, he'd be in the lineup. So obviously pretty significant. Hopefully he's back if the Leafs are able to win Game 7 with or without him. But we'll have to find out tomorrow if he's going to be able to play or be available. But I don't think. It's leaning towards he won't be still. But it's okay, because the Leafs have found a way to win without him. So that's encouraging for Leaf fans.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is obviously it seems like he's doubtful. He probably won't be able to suit up. But at this point, if that's the best thing for his long-term health, who knows what his injury is. We'll get into speculation now in a second. But as long as he can continue to progress and they can win without him, they've won 2 games in a row without him, and now they're going on the road where they play better. It could be a good strategy. If he's healthy enough to play tomorrow, he's going to play. But if they feel like he's not healthy enough, but maybe he will be for the next series, that'll be up in the air. But speaking of his potential injury, and we've done some speculating on the channel, of course, about it, but CJ on the Chris Johnson show says the impression he has right now is that Matthews won't play in Game 7 tomorrow night. And there was some other kind of like rumors and speculation about whether it was his groin. Someone came out and said it could have been his groin that got injured. That is kind of the go-to speculation right now, Darius. I don't know if you want to get into that a little bit, but that's kind of what the going rumors are regarding the Matthews injuries, that it is a groin injury and that maybe it started with an illness, but he did pull his groin and do something to his groin that's been holding him out for the past week.
Yeah, everything right now is truthfully speculation until we know exactly what happened. But what's going around right now is, yes, it was an illness, and it looks like it's either his groin or maybe his knee. That's what we know right now. So it's that, right? But the illness has not lingered. He is not still out because of the illness. I believe he had an illness that he played through, and that hindered his play in that specific game. He got over that, but there was an injury that took place in whatever game that was, like maybe Game 4, maybe something like that. But yes, he is dealing with an injury right now. So I think he's moved past the illness thing, but he's dealing with something that he obviously can't play through. So anything beyond that is speculation. We'll find if the Leafs lose tomorrow, we'll find out sooner rather than later, but hopefully they go deeper in the playoffs and he gets back into the lineup and we can just put this all behind us.
Yeah, because it's been obviously a lot of speculation, but this is now 2 different reports speculating that he won't play tomorrow. And then, of course, whether you want to believe it's a groin issue or not is up to you. What we do know is that his availability tomorrow is very unlikely, which is not great for the Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously, but they've been playing well without him, like we've discussed. So let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. And who knows, maybe we'll be making a video tomorrow because he did end up making his way into the lineup. But Darius, let's discuss this now. This is very interesting here. So he says, I do believe there's a small possibility the Bruins go to Linus Ullmark. If they do, they're crazy. They got to go back to Swayman. But Montgomery is unpredictable with this stuff. It looks like Auston Matthews could go in Game 7 for the Leafs. So there's a few different things going on there. It seems like the conclusion is that obviously Matthews won't be playing tomorrow with the Leafs. But what are your thoughts on potentially Ullmark replacing Jake Swayman, who's been like the second best statistic wise goalie in the playoffs across the entire NHL? I mean, none of this has been Swayman's fault necessarily, but maybe they have two great goalies. They had the 10 and they rocked back and forth all year for 29 straight games. Now we're in a bit of an interesting spot if you're the Bruins, where if you go away from Jake Swayman and you lose, you're probably, especially if Ullmark has a bad game, you're just asking for the fans to just rain it down on you. But at the same time, should they change something up, even though I don't think it's the goalie's fault whatsoever here?
Yeah, first of all, love Pat McAfee. That is a loaded tweet, sir. There is a lot going on in that tweet to dissect. But in terms of the Allmark thing, and I know Biz is just trying to stir the pot with the Matthews thing, but I'm not sure he's going to be available, and I'm sure he's just throwing that out there. But in terms of the Allmark and the goaltending thing, Swayman hasn't been bad, but the team has been flat. Just looking at it from the Leafs' point of view, looking at the Bruins, they have been flat and they've been playing pretty scared. So I feel like putting Allmark in wouldn't say so much about Swayman as it would about the rest of the team, and that maybe it would be a mental jolt to the team where it's like, hey, listen, like we're changing something up here. You got to get going, or else we're going to lose this game. Like it might just be a mental play by the coach to put Allmark in. But again, I think that's speculation because Swayman has been so good that I think if you don't put him in Game 7 on the Bruins side of things, then there's a lot of question marks if you lose that Game 7. So I think from the Bruins side of things, it should probably still be Swayman. He has been playing good, but I could see the mental aspect of the game where it might send a message to the team that you have to start picking up your feet and playing. So it's going to be interesting to see because the Bruins do have two really, really great goaltenders. But my gut is saying we'll see Swayman again.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't go with Swayman and they lose, you're asking for a media fire to be lit. But that being said, we kind of saw with the Leafs, very different situation because Samsonov wasn't playing well. But we saw once they put Joseph Wall in, it lit a fire. Obviously, Matthews being out as well, but it lit a fire under the team, and it also lit a fire under Joseph Wall, who has been absolutely lights out since he got put in a couple of games ago. And yeah, it is an absolutely loaded tweet, but I agree. Ullmark is probably not going to get the nod, but it's just like a situation where you have two great goalies. They've been switching back all year. Maybe they give him a shot to try to change something up because as good as Swayman has been, I mean, he hasn't won the past two games. Not his fault at all, but he hasn't won. Now, it's the team's fault more than anything, whether that be Pasternak, like we're going to discuss in a future video, or some other things. I think ultimately, Darius, it goes down to the fact that if they put Ullmark in, it'll be a media disaster class. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of question marks here if Allmark goes in and you lose that game. There's going to be a lot of question marks. Swayman hasn't played bad, but I think we see it many times where a goalie will be pulled in a game and the team will start to play better and maybe even come back in a game, right? So that's the only way I see this working out for the Bruins is maybe it's a mental thing just to flip the switch for the team. But again, I think Swayman's just been so good that you have to expect to see him in Game 7. And if you're the Leafs, it doesn't matter who you see. Just keep playing your game and you'll find success because they're working hard and that's what they're finding.
Hopefully, they're going to be able to do that. Let us know in the comment section below who you would rather start in Game 7. But that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon.